Hey guys, this is a upcycling sewing tutorial slash project. This is a bit of a project that I took on as a challenge to myself. So I found this very lovely skirt on eBay. I love the color. Purple is one of my favorite colors. It was shimmering and just lovely. I really adored this. But I was kind of disappointed when I saw there was a great big slit in it. So I'm not really a big fan of slits in clothing. I think they're a little bit immodest from my perspective. So I thought, why not try and flip it and see what I can do to make it a little more modest. So I thought, wouldn't it be fun just to add a different fabric in the slit and just make it a little more modest and maybe even a little more fun. So I found this fabric. I believe I purchased it off of eBay. And I liked it because it seemed kind of, it was very similar to the other fabric, and it had some neat little designs in it. So this is my project. This fabric was a little bit of a challenge because it's got embroidery in it, and it's also got some beads and sequins and all kinds of stuff. So what I'm doing is just sewing down the edges of it. And what I found out is when I started doing the sewing, the material is just so slippery. So I'm using these little clips to kind of keep it in place. Alright, and now that I've sewn down the edges, what I did is I put it down on the dress just to make sure everything was lined up. And next I'm actually going to be sewing on the material to the dress. So on this step, what I'm doing is when I'm putting my stitches through the skirt, I'm just grabbing a thread or two and then pushing it through the mauve kind of material. So I'm trying to make this stitching just as invisible as possible. So that's why I'm doing it like this and trying to be so delicate and only grabbing a stitch or two. And sometimes that is a bit of a challenge, as you can see here. My needle just doesn't want to quite just grab a couple of stitches. And when you're looking at it, it might not seem like it's going to be a really secure stitch. You know, if you're only, putting your needle through a couple of strands of the material, is it really going to hold? But that's why the stitches are so close together and why I'm doing so many stitches. So they can all kind of support each other. So each stitch doesn't have to be really secure. So you're kind of taking the pressure off each individual stitch, and all of the stitches are kind of working together, so so there's not too much pressure on any single stitch, and they should all hold together pretty well. So that's kind of the reason for all of the tiny little stitches that you're gonna see here. All right, and here is everything sewn down for the first time. So we've got everything sewn down, but it doesn't look really pretty quite yet. I've still got a little bit of work to do, so we're not seeing all of those kind of clumps of fabric behind the scenes. So my first step is to get this sewn down, just so when you're wearing the skirt, you know, it's not moving around, and you're not seeing all of these lines of sewing underneath. So just trying to hide some of the stitching, so your eyes are going to focus more on the beautiful fabrics than all of the hand sewing that's behind it. So now that I've got the materials sewn down, I'm gonna do a little more stitching on the outside, just to make sure it's really gonna be a secure stitch. Just so the skirt and the fabric that I'm adding are really going to hold together well. So I thought using this bit of stitching that has already happened with the external part of the skirt would be a good place just to do some extra stitching. You know, I figured the stitching is already there. And because of that, I figure it's probably going to be pretty easy to just do an extra line of stitching right on top of it. And here is the finished skirt. I really love how the colors are working together. They're both very shiny, so they look like they belong together. There's a little bit of seams that are present as I go up the skirt, but those aren't going to be really present when you're wearing it. not gonna catch the eye just too much, so I'm not too concerned about that. But I love how this turned out, and I thought this was a fun project. Thank you everybody for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I hope you have a great day.